Here for Card Player TV, continuing our coverage of the LAPC preliminary events. Today, the $10,000 buy-in horse tournament started, and we caught up with Michael DeMichele, who placed second in the 50K horse event at the World Series of Poker, to give us a crash course in all the horse games.
Well, I think in limit holding, it's important to be careful about playing too many hands from early positions, and obviously big cards are better than the smaller cards. And after the flop, if you have overcards to the board, you should be peeling and trying to catch up. Sometimes you just have to put some money in when you don't even have anything in limit holding. You can't just always be folding if you don't have a pair. So you gotta make some loose chases sometimes. I would say that's a pretty good tip. And then you defend your blinds a lot in limit holding. Yeah, that's one of the games you probably defend your blinds a lot more than in no limit, for instance. In no limit, you'd be tighter in the blinds. When you're playing Omaha 8 or better and a player opens some early position, they usually have like an ace-2 or an ace-3 type of hand, and so when you call in later position, you can play a wider range of cards than what they have, because obviously you have a positional advantage, but after the flop, since that they probably have ace-2 or ace-3 in their hand, they probably have like two other random cards, so you have a really good idea of knowing when you can get to showdown, when it's time to muck your hand, because when the board comes out, you just have to have a pretty good idea of knowing how your hand stands against two random cards in like an ace-deuce or an ace-3 combination. So you usually know if they have half the pot locked up, for low, or whether or not they have much going on for high. Well, in Raz, a lot of times you just have to kind of barrel through and just kind of represent the hand that you have. Whether or not you paired, you kind of just gotta shoot some more bets out there. Especially if it's going to be a situation where if your board is better than your opponent's, and because you actually don't have much going on in the hole, like you paired, or you're in there with some king high, or some crap that you wish you weren't involved with, you kind of just have to keep representing, because rather than check and have the other guy bet, you're giving up so much information about your hand. It's better to just bet, and that you're not going to get raised anyway because your board is better than theirs. So you kind of just have to force your way through sometimes and just represent the hand that you got. On 7-card stud, you should be opening up a lot of high cards. When you have lower cards behind you and you got like a jack, a lot of times you gotta represent it. And when you catch better cards, on 4th and 5th Street than your opponent, usually just you keep firing, and you gotta hope to take it down. And if you were just representing a hand on 3rd Street, like you didn't have much, and they called you with a 6 or something, and you catch a bad card on 4th Street, a lot of times it's just time to give up and just check fold. Just pitch it in the muck and move on. 7-card stud 8 or better is such a fun game, because you just hope, as soon as you have low cards, you play the pot like all the way to the river. So it's kind of there's not much to study 8 or better except just trying to get to showdown when you have a lot of low cards. And obviously when your board starts to get a lot worse than your opponents, and they have 1 or 2 more low cards than you, then you have to start to know when it's time to get rid of your hand. But most of the time in stud 8 or better, you just try to get to showdown. That's basically how it works. Thanks,
Michael, for that quick tutorial on horse games. There are about 100 players in the tournament right now, and the registration is still open, so stay tuned in for more updates on this event. I'm Christiana for Card Player TV.